Okay.
All right, hello everybody. What's going on? How you doing? My name is Erskine E.J. Alexander, and I'm with my buddies Nitra and KK Lene. And the name of our show is called Unfiltered No Chaser. So we're going to talk about everything. You know, this whole quarantine experience for everyone dealing with the whole coronavirus pandemic has been interesting. So we decided to create a show to just show love, just to have some fun, just have good conversation. So
Entertainment.
entertainment, basically entertainment. So we're here tonight. We're going to go for an hour. Am I correct, ladies? An
We're
That's
hour.
going
right.
for an hour.
We're going to go for an hour. Last week, we thank you guys for tuning in because that was our first episode, and we were still trying to work out the kinks and everything. So now that we are getting better and better each week, it's going to get better and better with the conversations each week.
That's right.
That's right.
With that being said, I'm Erskine E.J. Alexander. I'm checking in from New York. And ladies, y'all can introduce yourselves. Let's get this show on the road.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Kate. I'm from DC, Southeast Washington, DC, coming through. What's going on, everybody? Let's get it started.
Hi, my name is Nitra. I am in the DMV area as well. I am in Southern Maryland, also known as Wakandaville.
Not
So
Wakanda.
we're excited about today's show, and we're about to get it started. Please share this live. Do a watch, share it with your friends so everybody can join in the conversation. By all means, type us something. Let us know that you're out there so you can engage with us.
Yes, definitely. We want to see the comments. We want to hear what y'all got to say. We want this to be very interactive, and we just want to have some grown folk conversation. I got my drink here. Okay, so what y'all tasting tonight? What you tasting?
I have a red wine.
A red
not sure
wine,
which
of
one,
course. What you
but
tasting? He probably got water.
You probably
I got
water.
water.
I had my water earlier today.
Oh, hold up, y'all.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Says she can't hear us.
Uh-oh. You can't hear us?
You can't hear us? I can't hear you. Okay.
Can anybody else not hear us? What is going on?
Okay. Everybody's mute is on my no one's on mute.
Nobody's on mute. Turn your speakers up. Turn your speakers up.
Hi, Shannon. Shannon, can you hear us?
Oh, okay, good. Okay, they can hear us.
You
Okay,
can hear
good.
us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we got people.
So wait a minute. As I was saying though, wait a minute. We have it was somebody's birthday a couple of days ago. We had a birthday boy. That's right?
Yes,
yeah. EJ turned 22, everybody.
Yes,
22.
He's
21.
still drinking water.
Still drinking water.
Well,
he's still drinking water.
I'm still drinking water, you guys. I'm being good because of, I'm trying to stay all healthy. I got some things coming up in the future whenever all of this is over. And I don't want to jump too far off the bridge.
Yeah.
But I did turn up, though. Let's be clear. I did turn up. I did have a good time.
You getting some birthday shout outs. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, of course, everybody wanted to know what was it like experiencing a quarantine birthday?
Yeah, lockdown birthday.
Yeah, and that was probably the $1 million question that I got from a lot of people, and especially with what's going on here in New York. So everybody wanted to know, what did you do? What did you do? So and this is going to kind of each into the topic of what we're talking about tonight. My amazing wife, Sabrina, hooked up a nice Belgian waffle with some eggs.
Wow.
And some bacon.
I'm hungry.
We had the little strawberry, and then we had mimosas. Yes.
Oh, wow.
I saw that.
No games. It was
the waffles was overflowing the plate alone.
Yes,
wow.
And I ate every bit of it. We ate every bit of it. So so that kind of itches into our discussion tonight about men cheating versus women cheating.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna speak on it tonight because I think it's a topic that comes up a lot. It's part of life. And we're going to talk about it from a statistical point of view. We're going to talk about it just from a personal point of view, professional point of view, and just to really, really get everybody's insight on it. Why do you guys, as far as ladies and gentlemen, right? Why does cheating happen? What causes people to cheat? What makes you go from being so in love with this person to finding yourself in a situation with someone else?
Mm.
What happens if you've been married for a certain amount of years and all of a sudden the fire just goes out? What happens?
When the
Uh,
fire goes out.
yeah, when the fire goes out, or even if you got married, I saw something on TV the other day. You cheat the next week, the
Mm.
very next week.
Oh yeah, or people who
Yeah,
cheat during their wedding.
or
On
cheat during
the
the wedding.
wedding day.
Right. People that cheat during their weddings. So we really, really want to kind of touch on that tonight and some of the tools that you can receive just to keep your marriage fruitful, keep
Mm,
your marriage,
mm,
because
mm.
you're going to always have challenges. And
That's
I
right.
by far, I'm not a marriage expert or nothing like that, but I have studied this and I'm living it myself because as I read it and study it and process it, I'm trying my best to apply it myself as a man. So,
Right.
and it goes on both sides. It goes on both sides. So that's what our discussion is going to lead into tonight because we want to talk about that.
Mm.
What makes relationships, because we're in a time right now with this whole quarantine thing, you're trapped with your
Oh
spouse.
yeah, ain't nobody cheating right now.
You're trapped with your
No.
spouse. You ain't going nowhere.
The
Nowhere.
side piece is on ice.
you know.
Nowhere at all.
On
So
ice.
I've been married. This year makes year 15. Year
Wow. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
an
And
accomplishment.
it's an accomplishment.
It
It's an accomplishment, and I'm truly thankful for it. But people ask because my wife and I we're so different. I'm the loud one and the turned up
is.
one,
Right.
and she's from New York, born bred New York, but she's laid back. She's on the chill, but when she speak her mind,
Mhm. Mhm. That's what it is. The queen has
you got to be
spoken.
ready. The queen has spoken.
Yes.
The
Boss
queen
has
has spoken.
spoken. And we're both different individuals, so we both wake up each day trying to learn each other and understand
Right.
each other each day. We just have an agreement with the marriage that I want to take the rest of my life to learn you.
Right.
You
Right.
want to take the rest of your life to learn me.
Right.
Right.
And that's what it's about. So a lot of times people say, well, what do you do to keep the spice going? What are some of the things that you do to keep it energized? Well,
Mm.
I believe in date nights.
Oh
I firmly
yeah.
believe in that.
Very important.
Very important.
Very important.
I'm going to throw it to you guys too, but I just wanted to kind of sort of come with it from a man perspective, so you guys can kind of have an idea where we're going with this. People wonder what makes guys cheat. What makes women cheat. What do what triggers that? What happens? What results in that kind of situation going down?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think the number one thing is you got to keep the relationship fun. Because when you step to that young lady, whether you at the church or you at the bus stop or you in the airport,
Mm-hmm.
wherever, when you met that lady and you guys swap numbers and you guys decided that y'all want to kick in and things went a certain type of way, you in
Mm-hmm.
there and
Right.
Yep.
y'all good. You in there, you good to go. So the question is, what causes it to change?
Well, let me show you what Shannon said.
Okay.
Shannon Robinson said people cheat because they can.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. I think, but why, Shannon? Why, Shannon? I would like. I want to know why. You're right. We all can cheat.
Well, I'm gonna start out while she's typing in her answer. I'm just gonna say from my experience. Not that I was the cheater, but I have been cheated on before.
Mm.
Actually, two of my partners, male, um, cheated on me. Now, the first one, I don't recall me ever asking why. It was just you cheated, we're breaking up, and I was
Right.
done. But the last partner of mine that cheated, and I asked several ways, several different times. The answer was always I was selfish because I was trying to figure out
Mm.
what did I do? What did I do within the relationship to cause the cheating? But
Mm-hmm.
it was always I was selfish. And
Right.
honestly, that still wasn't a good answer
No,
for
that's
me
not a good
because
answer.
now I'm really intrigued on why were you so selfish, especially when we had conversations in the past at the beginning of the relationship with if you ever felt the need to cheat on me,
Yes.
leave me, break
Let me
up with me,
know. Let
leave
me
me.
know.
I'll be
Right.
sad. I'll get over it, but
Right.
don't cheat on me.
Right.
And that was just from, just from my experience.
I think a lot of times, I don't think it has anything to do with your partner. I think it has all to do with the individual and what they want and what they're committed to and what they're not and what they real with themselves about and what they're not. Some people jump in a relationship and knowing full good and well that they ain't got no business being there, ain't got no good intentions. They be good for a couple of months. Then after
Right,
that, you only could hide it for so long, you know what I mean? But I don't,
right.
at the end of the day, though, I don't think there's a blanket answer. There's not a blanket answer for why infidelity happens. I think it happens for several different reasons. But I think a lot of it, I mean, especially now in 2020, it is, such a virtual world and you have so many options. You have so many access to options. It's easy to just, swipe right on to the right
Hmm.
and keep on swiping. You know what I mean? People can always have that access to try to find the newest, the upgrade, you know what I mean? Or
Right.
whatever is feeding their ego. But I don't think there's a blanket answer. I think that in relationships and couples, I think that you have to keep it fresh. I think date night is a good night, is a
Yeah.
good way to keep it fresh. But also, I think that there is a certain energy about keeping your independence and your individuality. You don't want to just completely just mesh into this one entity, so to speak. I think it's very important that you keep your identity because those are what you were attracted you in the beginning. So,
Hmm.
you got to be able to be that multifaceted. You got to, what they say, a freak in the sheets and a
A
lady in the
lady in the
street.
street, a lady
In
in
the
the
street.
streets, and a
But you know
freak in
what?
the sheet.
It is, but it's hard. It's
lady,
hard.
lady, lady in the street, but a
Let's
freak
keep
in
it
the
real
bed.
though.
Yeah.
It's
Right,
hard, okay?
Right.
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 So Shanna said a mouthful. Shanna said because there's always someone that's willing to cheat. She said being with someone that is married is safe for a lot of people. She
Hmm.
also said that if there wasn't a person willing, people wouldn't cheat. And then she ended it with, of course, there's an underlying reason, but the bottom line for me is if there wasn't people willing to cheat with them, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, but I don't think that. I mean, that's a perfect world. That's not a reality.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
going to be somebody that's willing to get down with the get down. All right,
Of
somebody
course.
always willing to be on the low. Somebody always willing to do something. That's just what it is.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys this. When you find out that your significant other, it can be your girlfriend or boyfriend or your spouse, when you find out that they've been cheating, who do you blame? The other person or them?
Oh well,
What you say? Yeah, I would
go,
never
go.
blame the other person. Well, no, ladies first. I'm gonna let you answer it now.
So you saying if I was the adulter,
No, no, no. You're the spouse. You're married.
right?
Okay. And you found out that your husband was cheating.
Oh, it's definitely, yeah, it's his fault.
Who would you
It's his fault.
it's his fault.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. It's accountability.
Yeah.
I didn't make
I
you do it.
totally agree with you. Because again, it happened to me.
Right. See, and that's
um
that. That's narcissistic behavior when you do something and then try to project it on somebody else. What's up, Doc?
well
Come on,
see,
you.
here's the thing. A lot of times for females, and you see it in the movies, you see it on social media, you see it on these reality TV shows, they automatically go to the juggler of the female, right?
Okay. Well, this is not to
But
cut you off. I'm sorry. Go,
okay,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
'Cause
But they
I'm looking at what Shannon is saying. Shannon said, "I blame myself and him."
Mm.
Okay.
right now, no, well, you know what?
I want to
I
piggyback on
can,
that, but you go ahead,
yeah,
Nietzsche.
because yeah, okay. So they always go to the juggler to the other woman. Now, here's the thing, and it kind of segues into Shannon's answer, and also for you, EJ.
Okay.
If she knows about you, that's a whole different ball game.
Mm.
Ooh.
Okay, but if she doesn't know about you because he's selling her these pipe dreams, you know, um, then you can't fault the other woman.
Right.
However, if she knows about you and she knows that you're either the girlfriend or worse, the wife, and I don't say worse as in it's bad to be the wife, but I'm just saying you're married to this person, I blame both of them, but I hold him more accountable
Yeah.
because you allowed that foolishness to happen.
Yeah.
So that's the segue for you, Erskine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She said she blamed myself and him. So I guess the question, you're right. I've always, when I was in college, I used to date someone, and me and the young lady split. She ended up dating another guy, right? When she started dating the other guy, my boys, I guess they just didn't like the guy. They was like, beat him up, beat him up. But what's the purpose of beating him up? He's gonna be a dude. Girl come at him and she
Facts.
throwing it at him. I can't. There's no reason to beat the guy up.
Facts.
Now,
That's how I. That's how I. That's
right.
how.
I mean, if the guy's going to be on some, if he's coming at me or whatever, then that's one thing. But to approach him because he was being a guy,
Or involving because he's involved into a situation and he probably is not even privy to all the details and
right,
understanding the exact situation. There's no need
right,
for him to take the
right.
beat down. Facts.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and so then the origin, the question goes back, like she said, she blames herself, but then you're right, it goes back to me. What did I do to trigger that? Did I do
Yeah.
something to trigger that? Did I do something? What could I have done differently to keep her home or to keep her in a space where she would not go out and cheat? You understand what I'm saying? What could I have done to make that situation where she wasn't so frustrated with me, where she felt the need she needed to go out and cheat? You understand?
Right.
You're right.
So that kind
Mm-hmm.
of goes back to, what are some of the core things that needs to take place in a relationship to avoid that happening? Now, there are some people that's going to cheat anyway. I
Yes,
don't care,
they are.
Serial
and
cheaters.
they going to do it
Habitual
anyway, right?
offenders.
I call it community dick and community usse.
Okay. Yeah,
You know,
and it be like that.
yeah.
But times like this, when we're all quarantined,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't get that quick booty call and you can't get that
No.
quick that phone call, what happened?
But hold on. Now we got
Wait.
another issue.
Okay.
Now women, as women, we are emotional creatures. I don't care how hard you are. I'm an alpha female myself, but we still get emotional. There is a
Mm-hmm.
thing called emotional cheating.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh
so
yeah.
Yeah.
and even Jill Scott has a song, and I can't figure. I'll come back and let you know the song. But she says in the song that he says all the right things to her. He whispers in her ear. He smells good. He does everything that she would want him to do. But has she cheated? No, she hasn't, because she still loves her man.
Mm.
Jill Scott has a song about that. But I think when it comes to the whole physical act of cheating, it takes women a little longer to get there, because first you got to stimulate our minds. We got to see, okay, if we're gonna do this, okay, what am I going to lose?
What am I gonna lose?
Yeah.
Women generally fuck up. Like, if she's gonna cheat, generally, there's got to be something about this man that is better than the man that she already got. Men, on the other hand, they tend, and I'm generalizing everything, so nobody just jump on me. I'm generalizing everything. Men, when they cheat, they just trying to bust a nut and they go about
Mm-hmm.
their business. There's no emotional connection. Men are hunters. Women, we're emotionally. So when a woman is going to cheat, she's investing herself emotionally to this man.
That's
While,
right.
while a guy, he's just trying to get a quick nut. He going back home to his girl,
Yeah.
be it his wife or his girlfriend, and he might hit you up a little later on, but that's about it. So, I mean, am I
Yeah.
wrong?
No, you're absolutely correct about that. You have some side, you have a side that says, yes, that's exactly what I'm doing, because women are more emotional about it versus guys. Guys, we see a big booty, we're like, hey, we see a big
Yeah.
booty. If the girl could have no brain whatsoever, we just get so caught up in the appearance, the look, the booty, the
Mhm.
shape.
Mhm.
It ain't gonna be too much emotional there in most cases.
Right.
Now,
So
then you will have the very small population of guys that probably will say, you know what, baby, I think I'm in love with you. You ain't in love, you in love with the booty.
No, you're
You
in
know what I
love.
mean? And that's
You're
in
in
right.
love.
lust, right?
In
And that's
lust.
and that's and that's what it is. So, but the question is, in some cases, is that say, you know what? Listen, I like her. I'm gonna smash. I'm gonna keep it pushing. But the reality is, like you said, the emotional part. When you see a woman and she's beautiful and you decide you're gonna go sleep with her, you're sleeping with her from a physical point. From a physical
Mhm.
point, right?
Mhm.
She's sleeping with you. man and woman, from the emotional point. So what happens and how does
Mm-hmm.
she feel eventually after we done smashed a few times, you done gave her the sex that she ain't had in a while, you done made that emotional connection connect
Yeah.
that you hadn't had in a while, starts to like you, but you still tied up to your wife, or you still
Right.
tied up to other ladies,
Mhm.
or you just flat ain't ready to be in no serious committed relationship. Well, I was just having a good
Not
time, sweetie.
not only that, there's a very small percentage of men that's going to actually leave their spouses for the other woman. And if he leaves his
Yeah.
spouses, he's not really leaving them for you. He's leaving it because this was already going to happen. You was just a straw that I guess broke the camel's back to him for him to say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and leave. I got somebody else to smash while I'm in the process of
Right.
divorcing.
The funny thing about all of this is that I think that a lot of humans are have different lifestyles and opinions and are open to different things. And a lot of times, if people just be honest, be like, "Listen, this is what it is,"
Right.
a lot of times people is going to go with it. And so
Yeah.
But
reading one of our comments from Tiffany Sion, she says you have to listen to what your spouse needs and wants are and vice versa, and you have to love your spouse how they need to be loved with the mix of the way that you love somebody, which I think is key. And she said
Hmm.
yes, and there are folks who will cheat just as cheat because they don't care. But I think the highlight of that sentence right there is love your spouse how they need to be loved with a mixture of the way that you love somebody. So I think that's some very good advice right there.
Right.
Right?
Yes,
Yes,
I think
yes,
it's
yeah.
right.
very true.
Very, yeah, that's awesome. Because like you said, you want to keep that entertainment lit. I'm a man, just like all the hundreds of other married men out there. We see women. There's
Yeah.
always going to be temptations, hands
Yeah.
down. But
Yeah.
you have to also think about, are you in a winning situation with your relationship?
That's right. Yes.
Like she said, are you getting the love from your spouse that you want and
That's
that you
right.
request? Or is that happening? Because there's people that can easily go out there and sleep with thousands and thousands of women, but what else are they getting with
What
that? If
else are
that
they
makes
gaining from that?
right.
Yes.
What do you
Yeah.
gain from that? Because if you and I'm
Yeah.
just honest, I had someone tell me, now, okay, if this were to be just a smash thing, would you do it? Well, the response to that would be no, because eventually, like Lenitra said, the emotional part is going on the female
Yeah.
side for the most part. Well, listen, I could do that, and then when your feelings get to where I am, or go back to where I'm at, you're going to be like, oh, well, how dare he? You know what I mean? Like, you're just going to
Brandy
crucify
from away
your
from a Brandy from the thin line between love and hate.
right. You're right. So you're going to be wifey and hubby with her, but you was just with me the night before. So now emotionally, you done got involved.
Mhm.
And me, I
Yeah.
was
Right.
just, girl, you knew what this was. You knew
Yeah.
what this was from the gay or whatever. So don't act funny. But then you find yourself mad at the guy. And now you want to blow up the spot, or you want to blow up his car or whatever. And so to prevent that, because it happens. It happens. I mean, I'm not gonna. I ain't never experienced none of that. I'm not gonna. I've never experienced that. But not that opportunity and presented itself. It's just you have to make a decision and say, you got to look at the bigger picture. Now, if I do this, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Is it really worth the 20
You have
minutes?
to be you have to be a rational person, a rational
Right. You got to
thinking
look at the whole
person.
thing. You got to look at the whole
You
thing.
got to look at
Right.
the Yeah,
You
is
just
it
like,
worth it? Yeah,
is
am I
it worth
willing
it?
to am I willing to jeopardize my entire life possibly for an hour?
For an hour? And she might set it
Exactly.
off so good, it might be,
Look, that girl, that's round trip.
But
that's that,
the funny story. When I was active duty, and I used to live in Woodbridge, and I lived in these apartments, and this one particular night, I kept hearing like glass shattering. Didn't get out my bed because guess what? I don't want to know what's going on. But the next morning, the next morning, this guy's truck had no
Oh
windows,
God,
All of the tires was flattened.
Oh no.
Had no headlights.
Oh no.
The doors was like looked like she took a bat or something and just a crowbar and just beat like the car was total. And he happened to come outside to go to work in his Marine uniform. And he walked outside. He was like, what the fuck? And I was like, yo, I heard that last night, but I don't know. And he was like,
happy birthday. Sorry.
thank you.
He was like, I'm going to fuck her up. I said, well, what the hell did you do? But the crazy thing is, oh girl was PCS, and he said,
oh no.
She was what?
Yes, she was PC. She was changing duty locations.
She was
moving. She was changing her. I'm sorry. The military talk.
You're talking military talk, girl.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Permanent change of station is PCS. So
I never knew that.
She was moving to another base, and I guess the night before she left, she did a Jasmine Sullivan on him.
You know, she felt good when she got on that airplane the next day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
She felt accomplished.
Oh yeah. You know, but see, this is what happens. You know, what if she ran up on his job? You know what I mean? Like you said, she's gonna be in her feelings because, like you said, there's the emotional component. Mm-hmm. The guy was just thinking, well, you know, I'm just gonna go smash, bust me a nut, and I'm gonna keep it pushing because she's fine. The lady was fine. She was beautiful. She had curves or whatever.
Yeah.
She's emotionally tired. Have you ever thought about the fact that maybe she was frustrated because of her previous situation? She just wanted an outlet, and now you're just going to kind of backhand slap her, you know, with, well, say nothing. This is basically what you just walked out of. You know what I mean? So when you have yourself in those kind of situations, you have to look at the bigger picture. Because it's always going to be women out there. It's always going to be dudes out there. And my brothers, listen, women out there, it's a given. I don't care what walk of life you come from. It's women out there. You know, you go to the gyms, you go to the park, you go to church. Women in the church.
You say go to church.
Oh, yeah,
you go to church, women in the church. It's bad women in the church. You know what I'm saying? It's
hey, not for nothing. It'd be like 50 women in church and like 9 guys.
Exactly.
And
that's what it is now.
Singles meetings at night.
That's not funny. Y'all going horrible.
No, but I'm being funny. I'm being funny, and I'm not trying to, say anything out of pocket. My pastor's supposed to be watching this as well, but or my church members watching this. But it's just the reality, though.
But it's reality.
It's just you go to the church, you don't see that many married couples in there like that.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, sure. Even the pastor, the bishop, or reverend, or whatever you call the person, the head of the flock, he dipping and tipping too. So,
he got his pick of the litter.
Yeah, that's a whole nother situation.
But then that goes into the whole thing of the pastor and having a first lady to balance that out. Because if you're going to church,
hold on.
Oh yeah,
I was going to a church where he had a first lady.
Mm-hmm.
And in the church, he was, I love my wife, stand up, twirl around, show everybody who you are, baby. But he was slipping and tipping through the churches. Slipping and tipping.
Just going to lift him up. We just got to lift that brother up in prayer.
That's right.
But then what happens, but then on the flip side of that, but then you think about the flip side of that, why is it getting to that point? What's causing him to get to that point?
I don't know.
What's going on? What's going on in his household, or like Shannon was saying, or the needs.
Sometimes you don't need a reason. Sometimes there is no reason. Sometimes people are just trifling and just selfish and just don't care. That's what it is,
and that's exactly what it is.
And do you think that's? I think that's the majority of it. I think a lot of people walk around here with no boundaries and don't care. They don't care who they destroying in their path. No, and that's just what it is. There's a lot of selfish people out here.
And I totally agree. But then but see, this is where the bigger picture comes in.
Yeah.
If I do that, how it impacts not you, but it impacts me.
Mm-hmm.
I could lose my job, I could lose my wife, I could lose my kids, I could lose my house, I could lose every single thing just for smashing. Now, you run up on somebody that got the same thing to lose, they gonna think twice about it. They gonna bag up.
Bingo.
So I have a question then. What about when you get caught cheating? Are you guys like the forgiving type, or is
Well,
it
Yeah.
done deal?
I did.
Really?
I
Okay.
forgave. I forgave.
You
And I
forgave.
was
Okay.
like, let's work it out. You know,
I don't know if I'm
you know what?
that
Let me
mature.
just be.
I'm
Look,
not that mature. It's not
this
that I don't
is
know. I'm
this
not that
is
mature.
this
Yeah.
show.
Some people. Yeah.
Hold on. This show is called Unfiltered No Chaser. So
That's
let me
right.
just
And
go ahead and put it out there.
hold on, I'm with the notes. Oh, but I gotta chase it though
It
because
was my
I
ex
ain't about that
husband.
life.
It was my ex husband. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there. Now he's a good
Okay.
dude, so don't think I'm a bash him because he's a good dude in other areas. Okay, but
This wasn't a good husband.
in some areas of husbanding, and that's not even a word, he was. But
Husbanding.
but
I like that word.
he did cheat on me,
Right.
and I did forgive him, and I
Right.
did take him back because I loved him,
Right.
and because I wanted our marriage to work, and
Right.
because we had a whole family.
And because you had a whole family, yes.
We had a
And I
whole
know there are
family.
tons of people out there who are in situations where,
Yeah,
sometimes a
yeah,
breaking up just ain't an option.
yeah.
Sometimes,
So
or not
I
an immediate
Right.
forgave him.
option.
I forgave him not once, not twice, but
But
three
how do you
times.
move on? You can't.
The third
Whoa.
time. So
See.
this is
But
what
see.
happened. The way you
This is
move
where we're going
on.
with that.
This is how you move on. And this is how I moved on.
Right.
The last time that it happened, okay, I called my brother because he had a townhouse. It was vacant at the time,
Shout
and
out to Brian.
Right.
I
Sorry.
said, I
PG. Let's
said,
go,
hey,
boy.
hey, do you have any tenants? Now I already knew he didn't have any tenants because I lived in the subdivision across the street from him,
Oh,
but I didn't know if he had some coming in. And he said no. He asked me why, and I said because I need to move in. And he said, what? I said I need to move in. He was like, oh, okay. Now my brother don't get into mess. I don't get into mess, but my brother don't get into mess. He's like,
right.
okay, whatever you need to do. He told me where the key was, and I moved in that Saturday. Crap went down this weekend. The following weekend, I was out the house. But when I moved out, nobody knew that I left my husband. I left my husband with my clothes, my youngest child, because the other two are grown, um, her clothes, and a TV.
Mhm.
I didn't tell anybody because I
Right.
didn't want anybody in my ear. I didn't want no one to know and try to talk me out of it or try to say, negative stuff about him because, still, what you're not going to do is talk negative about him. You know, I needed to move in silence so I could get myself together and work on me.
Mhm.
My mom didn't even know. My mom didn't even know that I had moved out for months later. And then when people started asking me, you know how you have casual conversations, they said, "Oh, hey, how's we're gonna call him John? How's John?" And I was like, "Oh, I guess he's doing fine."
So when you guys after that, I mean, did you guys get back together? Was it a point where you were open to forgiveness, and
No,
how did that work out?
no, I couldn't. I forgave him because I needed to forgive him for me. Not so much for him, but for
Right.
me. Because I knew that eventually, later on down the road, I would want to be in another relationship
Yeah.
and I would want to be married
Mhm.
again because
Yeah.
I love the institution of marriage.
And
Okay.
forgiveness is for self.
And I needed to forgive him and I needed
Right.
to work on myself because I didn't need to bring that baggage into a new relationship. So I left him in what, 2017,
Mhm.
and it's 2020 now, you know.
Mhm.
And I went
Mhm.
to my therapist,
Mhm.
Mr.
Therapy
Alexander.
therapy is so
But
underrated.
so here's the
Why?
thing. I went to my therapist, right? My therapist was Erskine because
Oh.
because I knew that he could separate friendship from business.
Right.
Okay, and I know because we have been friends for so long, he was not going to BS me. Okay, and so I told
It gets hard.
him the most intimate part of how I felt. Like he knew. And then at first he would say, "Oh, y'all get back together." And I was like, "No, I just can't. Like I love him, but I'm not in love with him, and the trust is gone." Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust him anymore. I love him, but not enough to be with him.
Yeah. And I
You know,
think that's very key for people to recognize is that, I trust you, I love you, but not enough to continue on to a path that's, ultimately damaging to my own spirit.
right, right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Good for you,
since
Nitra.
since she had put that out there, it's the hardest thing in the world because my mother just got married
Oh
Mhm.
last
wow. Shout out to moms.
Yep.
mom. Shout out to my mom and Franklin, and growing up, I've seen unfortunate, failed marriages on both sides from my mom and my dad. Love them both, but that's just, that was the experience. They have their reasons for why certain things didn't work out. So I took those tools, and not that I'm perfect, because my wife and I, we've had our bumps in the road as well. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
That's right.
Right.
But under the surface, you want to see all your friends win. You
Yes,
know, um,
facts.
you want to see all your friends win. So when Anitra approached me about just consulting about what was going on and stuff like that, because I've met the gentleman and nice guy, but it's none of my business as to what goes on behind closed doors. But when
So did
that
y'all have
trust,
like real therapy sessions?
Yeah,
well,
because it was
yeah,
real therapy session because there were things that nobody knew that only Erskine knows
yeah,
Wow.
that
yeah,
went
Okay.
on
because a
within them.
lot of
And when
times.
I would tell him, he was like, "Say what? He did what? What? What?"
And see, the thing about it is, you want to, when you talk to a therapist, you want to be able to talk to someone that's not going to judge you.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
why I admire the point that she took with her by not talking to her mom, not talking to certain, because people are going to get in your ear. Girl,
Yeah.
you should leave him. Girl, you gonna leave him. And man, you should go back with her. But like she said, she had to get to a place where she was at peace with herself.
Right.
She had to get to a place where she had to forgive within before she could say, hey, listen, I'm ready to go on with this. Once she came up with that decision, once she made up the decision to move forward, everything fell into place. But she made that decision based on her. It's almost similar to kind of like I always, we watch TV, like Love and Hip Hop with Kirk and Rashida. Now
Mhm.
when Kirk had that baby, some women are like, girl,
That's
ain't no
right.
way in the world. Hell
That's
no.
right.
You
That's
gonna go out
right.
and make a baby with another person?
Mhm.
Off the charts, and then you got some women say, well, girl, he made a mistake. We're gonna stay, we're gonna stay out. And they're actually
Mhm.
together. I mean, I don't know the stature of their relationship, but they're actually together from what we last saw on
Yeah.
television. But you know
Mhm.
what? You got to always ask yourself as a man, how would you feel if the shoe was on the other foot? You break up with your lady.
Oh, and you know what? It's
She goes and gets
interesting that
pregnant.
yes,
You're
it's
so
Yeah,
right.
this is
interesting
good.
that
This is
you
good.
bring that up because
Yeah, because I'm gonna be.
yeah.
If she goes and gets pregnant
Then
by
what?
another guy,
Mhm.
how do you feel
How
as a
are
man?
you
Well,
that
I actually
forgiving?
asked him, did he want an open relationship? When I was contemplating, yeah,
Wow.
I asked him. I said, "Well, do you want an open relationship?"
What's Corey Clark is watching
And
too?
he
What's up,
was
baby?
like, "What?" And I said, "Do you want an open relationship?"
Right.
And he was like, "Fuck no, I don't want no open relationship. What's wrong with you?" I said,
Yeah.
"The reason I'm asking is because you've been doing your part and I haven't been doing mine."
Right.
And so he was like, "The hell you mean?" And so he got irritated with it. And I told him, I said, "Hold on." I said, "The reason you don't want another not another the reason you do not want an open relationship is because you can't fathom the thought of some other man pleasing your wife the same way, if not better,
Man,
than you." And that's
Ain't
why
trying to take that
that's why I
gamble.
would never do
He ain't
a
trying to take that gamble.
menage a
no.
trois
Yeah,
Why
with.
is that though? I mean, like, is that just the masculine energy? I mean, is
I
that
think so.
is that what it is? Like,
Yeah, I
I
think that's
think
what it
so.
is.
this
Yeah,
is
it's the
mine.
hardest thing. Yeah, it's the hardest thing in the world. If your wife steps out and she goes with someone else and she gets it better than you, it is a shot at your manhood. It's
Yeah.
almost like if his two is better than your two.
This is what Shannon said.
I'm just like,
Shannon said a woman will forgive and work it out, but a man will leave.
Oh, that's right.
yeah,
And baby
that's true.
girl, and Shannon, and if you get pregnant, oh, you better believe he out the door with the quickness.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
a
party's
wrap.
over.
Not
Mhm.
Yeah,
raising nobody else's seed like that.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's so unfortunate. So you got to ask yourself what causes you to get to that point. Also look at the big picture.
Look at the big
Why does it
picture.
have to get to that point? You know what I mean? Like what can we? Because you got to think in your mind. And that goes for me. I'm a man, and I see women in the street just like anybody. if I go out and I do this, and the girl may not care, she may not like me or whatever. She just want to get close to whatever. But then if she turns around and she does it, the thought of it in my head of knowing that another guy is possibly giving my wife the business better than me, you're going to feel a certain type of way.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to feel a certain type of way. And so you just have to think, you just have to think ahead and say, you know what, is this really, really, really worth messing up? Let's go back to what caused us to get to this bad space. Let's go back to why we were dating, we was having a great time, and we was having sex off the wall. What went wrong? What changed? And let's try to what happened. Did we 7 date nights when the kids came along? Is it that you're more engulfed in the kids and versus being engulfed in me? Did your figure change? Let's be honest.
Did
Did
you
his figure
outgrow
change?
each
Oh
other?
God.
Did you
Let's
outgrow
speak
each
on it.
other?
No. Did because unfortunate, as shallow as that may sound, there's some
Yeah.
reason. Those
It's
are
a
reasons
big
why.
part. I know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
If your
Yeah.
wife was hanging off the chandelier when y'all first got together, and she doesn't hang off the chandelier anymore, what's the reason?
What's the
What's the
reason?
reason? What caused it? And the same thing with the brothers. Same thing with the brothers. We ain't no better. If you was bringing it to your lady, and I'm talking about putting it down, and all of a sudden you tired, you sleeping. You can't jump in the ring more than two or three times like you used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes,
What happened? Like what happened? So
sometimes
that
those are telltale signs that the other person is cheating too. Sometimes.
Oh yeah.
sometimes, but you have to look at. But like I said, this goes back to why these things take place. Why do these things? What transpired to make you say, you know what? Listen, I'm not feeling this person. I want to go on this side. What changed in our relationship to make us disconnect? Because when I first saw you and we connected and we was dating, we was having a great time and we was
Mm-hmm.
going out to dinner and we decided to
Mm-hmm.
get married and we decided to build a foundation. What happened? What
Mm-hmm.
went wrong?
Well, I mean, at the end of
And
the day,
that's
you got to keep that same energy.
right. You got to keep that fire lit. That's why it's so important to have the date
That's
nights.
right.
It's so
And
important
and
to
you also
celebrate your anniversary.
have to
So,
speak the matters of your heart too.
yeah. Speak the matters of your heart, but also have those date nights. Go
Hmm.
on vacations. Enjoy each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
My wife and I, like I said, we're not perfect. We're not perfect. We have disagreements like any other couple. But I've always emphasized because there was a change in our relationship when our child came along. Because you're not.
Natural. It's a natural transition.
It's just a natural transition. So when children get involved,
Right.
life ain't don't feel like hanging off the chandelier.
That's right.
Ain't no jumping
Ain't
around
none of
for 2 or 3 hours
that.
a night. It
No.
ain't none of that. So that's why it's so important that you have those little moments, those date nights, those anniversary trips, those vacations. But
Right.
since you guys can continue to connect and get to
Yeah.
know each other. We try to emphasize that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you got to go off to a Caribbean island. I'm not saying you got to do all of that, but it
That
should be
helps
a
though,
moment where,
darling.
oh yes, it's mandatory.
Yeah, me time.
It's mandatory.
Even if you do a
A
bed and
bed and
bed and
breakfast.
breakfast,
Yeah.
I think that
We do
might
a
work
lot.
too.
We do a lot of those. We do a lot
Yeah,
of those. We
Yeah,
drive. We
yeah,
drive to Delaware, and we'll go or some spots in DC. Yeah, we do a lot of bed and breakfasts.
yeah,
Those are nice little
right.
ways
And,
to
and,
connect,
and
little short, little trips. And it's usually just
right.
the small things, you know. I mean, I think that when me and my husband first got together, we were just like in this bubble where the outside world didn't even exist. And then at some point, you know, you have to come out of that bubble and kind of
yeah,
interact with the rest of the world. But it's so important that every now and then, you know, y'all step into that bubble by yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And be able to enjoy each other. Yeah.
yeah.
because we all get busy with
But
our
nothing is
job.
foolproof. I don't think anything is foolproof.
But you
No,
gotta
no, no.
want your marriage to work. You gotta want it.
Right,
You have, yeah, you have to
right,
value it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right.
because
Yeah,
it's not
And the
50-50.
piggyback.
It's a thousand, a thousand.
right.
That's true. That's true. That's very true. To piggyback on what Kay was saying is it's so important that you do those things. I'm not saying, because some guys will be like, I can't afford to take this girl
Right.
to the Jamaica. I can't afford to take this girl over here.
Right.
Like you said, you guys went right up the street to Delaware.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Here in New York, we can go to, we can go out, up to the suburbs and just call it a
Yeah.
day. But the reason why it's so important because with jobs,
Yeah. With
kids,
time.
period time.
Yeah.
You're so busy. You're so busy. And there was a time frame for us, before things started to slow up. I was filming. and I'm on a TV show
That's
doing
right.
that. I'm doing my regular job. When you're bouncing around, my wife got her career, my daughter got her career. So a lot of times I come in at night and I'm like,
That's right. And too exhausted.
"Hey, how you doing? I love you," and take a shower and
Yeah.
wake up and do the same thing over again.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have to find yourself in a space where we got to make that time for
Right,
us.
right.
You
And
know,
it's and you don't have to go all out. I think right now
no, you
during
don't.
quarantine time, this is like prime opportunity for people to learn how to date again, like on a small,
Yeah,
intimate level. You don't need
Right.
picnics in front of your house. You know what I mean? Setups inside the living room. Like it's a lot of things you can do. You just have to get creative. I don't think that, there's much. If there shouldn't be a lot that's needed.
Yeah.
yeah. My wife
Sabrina
says
said marriage
marriage
takes.
takes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, no, no. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's your
No,
wife.
she said, yeah, yeah.
It's your wife.
I'm right. My wife says marriage takes work on a daily basis, and it
It
does.
does. And I know
It
it
does.
takes a lot of
And
work
it's a
for you,
daily
Sabrina, because
choice.
you're married to Erskine. So I know that's a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a
That's a
lot,
lot
a
of work.
lot of work.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
She said it's a lot of work. Yeah.
But the one thing that I will say about her, and I'm not saying it because she's watching it, I'm not saying it because we're on here,
Aww.
genuinely my friend.
Yeah.
She's really my friend. She's my
Yeah.
homie, and we can sit at the table
Yeah.
and talk for hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm the talkative guy, but you know what? Little do you guys know, she's just as talkative as
Yeah.
well
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
She probably don't do it in public like that,
Mhm.
but when it comes to us, oh yeah, when she wants to know how my day was, what's going on, how you feel,
That's
what's
right.
happening,
Yeah.
how you feel about that, and that's
As she
what keeps
should.
it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no judging.
Those are the things
There's
you
no
have to
judging.
do. You have to be involved with your partner's life.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And also you gotta stroke their ego too.
That's right. You got to be their biggest
Yeah,
cheerleader.
Yeah, you do.
yeah,
And be a
Yeah.
united front. Like
Yeah.
I don't believe in having disagreements and telling family members your disagreements.
No.
yeah,
Because here's the
No.
reality, and I think we changed this whole subject,
We
yeah,
the topic. Here's why. If you tell your family member, "Oh, she's this, she's that," and blah
yeah.
blah blah, and talking down,
Yeah. They not going to forget.
when you're not mad no more,
They
they
still
still
mad.
mad.
right,
They still
So
mad.
right,
why are you
right.
don't bad
For
now?
real.
And then it's going to get to a point to where you go to them and say all of this stuff again, and they're like, you know what? I don't even care because you're still with them, so I
Yeah.
don't want to hear it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they
Mhm.
get mad.
And then
They
get
they they
mad.
they
But
they get mad.
Then they
Somebody
be
told
all
us,
involved in y'all's
right,
relationship.
they
Yeah.
get,
mhm.
yeah. So
so
it's
so let me ask you. Let's bring it back to the topic. What do you think the percentages are
Yeah, so-
on who cheats the most, men or women?
Ooh.
I still think we dominated.
You said you still think men dominated?
I feel like we do.
I would agree. I think men just need opportunity. They just need opportunity, and they have, and I think even the best of the best men, they have to know that there's not going to be no trace of it, and they can get away with it. I think they're going to take it every time.
Well, I
Yeah,
found a news article from fatherly.com, and it was written by Lauren Venopal, and
Yeah,
it was updated on March 31st, 2020. I guess she had nothing to do during the
the corona.
and it, and so the title of the article is "Do Men Cheat More?
Mm.
Maybe not as women close the infidelity gap."
Oh wow.
And she goes on to say, where's my statistics? She goes on to say that
Shannon says that women are just better at it.
they are better at it. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah.
Not that I've done it, but I can just imagine I can tell you why. She says a total of 67.3% of male cheaters reported cheating on their spouses more than once,
Oh
com-
wow.
compared to 53.5% of women. Of those, 21.5% of men were suspected of cheating compared to 40.1% of women. And finally, 39.2% of male cheaters said they eventually got caught compared to 48% of women that got caught.
Oh.
mm, she got some numbers. She got some strong
Those
numbers.
are some high numbers. Like
Yeah,
that's that that's like basically saying half of the marriages um I'm
People
gonna
are
say
not faithful.
are not faithful at all.
People are
Yeah.
not faithful.
Yeah, and it's sad because I know for military people, a lot of times, not all the time, they get married because they're lonely. They get
Right.
married because they're about to PCS, change of permanent duty station, and go somewhere else. And the person they're with, messing with, they want them to come with them, and that's the only way they can come with them without getting orders or hoping they get orders to go there. They marry for money,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying there's a whole lot of money in that. That's maybe a good $150. but
Wow.
they,
Are
but
you
they, yeah.
serious?
Really?
So they get married. Yeah, so they get married because of those things.
Yeah, and
But
then
but
people get married
also
so they can live on base, right?
no on base. No, you don't
I
have to
mean,
live
back in
on
the
base.
day, well,
You mean to come out the barracks?
to come out of the barracks,
Yes.
yes.
She
Yeah.
got to speak military terms.
Yeah. To come out of the barracks. The barracks
Yeah, to
are
get that money, that
housing for
extra
single.
money. What is it
Hmm.
called? What's it called?
BAH.
Yeah, your
Basic
VAH.
housing
I know a little
allowance.
bit. I
I've
know a
heard
little
that.
bit. I know a little
I
bit.
heard it.
so
I've
so
heard of
so
that.
they
Yeah.
so they get married for those reasons, and a lot of times I'm gonna say those marriages don't last because they
Typically
get
last.
deployed,
Yeah.
then they start messing with sergeant such and such, or messing up the ranks with captain somebody, and so military marriages don't last a lot either. It takes double the
So
work for
let me
military
let me ask
marriages
you
to work.
guys this. Let me ask you guys this. So coming from a 2020 perspective, we got a new generation coming up, and their ideal on a lot of things are different,
Yeah.
especially marriage and whether or not
What is that for this generation? What is that?
for this. What do you mean?
There's no such thing.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, so
There's no such thing.
there's no such thing. So, but they're defining it different. I mean, it's not about monogamy. It's not about just being married to one person. It's not being married to the opposite sex. I mean, I don't know. Maybe soon people gonna be marrying their animals. You know what I mean? They're gonna be marrying. They're gonna be marrying Fluffy in a minute, child.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but how the dynamics of it is how it's changing. And before it used to be, it has to be in a church, it has to be with someone you love. Now, those are optional.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
very optional.
But it still goes back to the question of what makes you get with that person, what makes you all of a sudden not like that person, what changes that?
Yeah.
Because
Hmm.
when a relationship forms, you have to look at the essence of how it forms, what you can do to keep it going.
Right.
Hmm.
What makes you get to a point to say, you know what, I don't like that person anymore, or I'm
Hmm.
not feeling that.
Hmm.
I want to go to this person. What is it that that person has? Maybe
Sometimes
this
it's a
person.
growth issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes. That's probably one of the number one reasons.
Yeah.
You find yourself going in a separate
That's right.
direction,
That's
Or
and it
right.
happens.
yeah, growth and well, this is part of growth too. Or if one person decides that they have a entrepreneur spirit within them,
Oh, yeah, I can imagine that's breaking up a
because
lot of
that's
houses.
financials. That's your
Yeah, that
financial
has to do with
aspect to
money.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're saying as far as like money,
Yeah, because there's financials. Like somebody may or may not be working while they're doing this entrepreneur venture,
yeah,
or they're
yeah.
spending more time that
Working
they
on their
could be
business.
working on their business. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. And
yeah.
then sometimes, like, and it was so funny because I was talking to my wife about this, and she said, "You got to be very careful how you word this." So I definitely don't want this to be spit the wrong way. We kind of touched on it a little bit when we started saying that, sometimes, physically people's bodies change, and you have some guys that be like, "I ain't with that no more." You know what I
But you
mean?
know what? You know what I find that
Hmm?
a man, if he's really into you, he don't give a damn if you got titties down to your damn ankles
Right,
That's
or
right.
true.
you
You're
got
right.
that
You're
fat
very right. You're
stomach.
very right.
That's
Right, but you
true.
know
If
what?
he's really into
If
you,
he's into you, it
all
don't
that
matter.
superficial stuff
It doesn't
is
matter. You're
not.
right,
It
but
doesn't even matter. It's
but
us.
what
It is
happens?
us that we're like, oh my god, well his ex this looked like that,
Hmm.
or I know he
Right,
prefers this right here, or I've seen him look at this type of woman. But
right.
if he's really into you, he don't care about all of that.
You're
It's
right.
it's us and our insecurities within our own selves,
Hmm.
that want to change things about us.
Right.
But they're not really like, you know what? as long as you don't become my part of my 600-pound life, you know, I
Right.
really don't
Right.
care.
Well, we,
What happens? But what
Oh my
happens
gosh.
when you have the guys? But what happens when you have the guys that do that though?
Hold on, I got
yeah,
one.
yeah, and it happens a lot.
Shannon says, I mean, I'm sure his penis has changed also.
N-
So
No, it
I
didn't
don't,
shrink,
you
Shannon.
know,
That's physically not
She
able to
said he
happen.
did.
but maybe the
He probably
balls
can't
kind
work
of
his.
hang more.
Oh,
Maybe his balls hang more. You know, they're not as.
But you're not paying attention to the
Cause I don't
balls.
see some pretty penises.
oh,
I just gotta say, honey, I don't see some pretty. I
I'm gonna
get this
plead the fifth because I don't
impression.
know nothing about that.
Oh,
I
baby,
don't
I
know
done
nothing about
seen
that.
some pretty penises in my lifetime, and I'm like, now that you mentioned it, with the body's changing.
Shannon also said, but she doesn't believe that cheating always. I'm sorry, hold on. But cheating doesn't always mean that they don't like or love their spouse anymore.
I believe that.
So,
I believe that.
is cheating a lack of respect, and is a lack of respect a lack of love?
I think no. I don't think it's always a lack of love, but I think it's a huge
I don't
disrespect to
think
the
you can
spouse.
separate the two.
I think
Yeah,
I think.
Right?
I'm
Am
with
I?
Kay on that
You
one.
right, EJ? I don't think you can separate the two.
Well, I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate.
Oh, Joetta's in the building. Joetta's in the building. Oh,
Hey,
congratulations to
Joe, the
Joetta.
doctor's in the house. Yes, she
Uh
is.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
waiting for you to
Congratulations
come
on
in,
Dr. Joetta. Dr. Joetta.
oh. We got
doctor.
some prestigious in here,
Doctor
doctor,
P is in the
doctor.
house.
Dr. P
But
is
yeah,
in the
but no,
house. It's
I
popcorn
was being
style.
I was being facetious with that. I don't think that you can love your spouse um if you cheat on them. There's no way
Right?
possible. Because that was
Yeah.
one of the things I asked. I said, "There's no way you can love me because if you love me, you wouldn't have done that."
Right.
I come across attractive men all the time. I see men that I'm attracted to, but I never let the conversation get to a point to where there's
Facts.
innuendos
Yeah.
that can
Yeah.
be like, was she trying
No.
to flirt with me? Yeah, no.
No, not at all.
But yeah,
No.
I totally agree. I was being facetious.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I think that love is a word that we just throw around, that we need to throw around. But I think in the context of an intimate relationship, you have to have boundaries. You have to have
Mhm.
a foundation and certain things in place. Because if not, then what separates your relationship from you and Tom's relationship, or you and Mary's relationship?
Right.
There's no different. And that's the difference between being in a relationship, a committed relationship, is that I'm dedicated to this one person, and it's we riding this thing till the wheels fall off.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have about 2.5 minutes left. Do we have
Yeah.
any closing remarks?
Closing remarks.
Yep.
My closing remarks is that I feel sorry for all the cheaters right now.
Do you really?
They got that.
Woo.
They got that itch that can't be scratched. So, I'm so sorry. No, really though, I think that the context of relationships are changing, and so I don't think that there's nothing off the table these days in 2020. People, if you into it, you can find somebody. So I just encourage everybody just to be honest and forthright and forthcoming. You know, this is what I want to do, what you want to do,
Right.
type deal. You
Right.
down with this?
Yeah. Right.
Keep it
Erskine.
real. Keep it 110 from your head to your toes.
Oh my God. Don't get Erskine to start rapping.
Keep it one. Uh
Erskine, do
oh.
you
What?
have any
We
more?
can have a battle night, yo.
Do you have any
Yeah.
closing remarks?
Yeah, most importantly, keep it fun. I'm all about living life and keeping things fun, whether it's relationship or just life. Because right now, during this time, with what's going on with this whole COVID-19 and this coronavirus stuff, and you having to be enclosed in your house, do what you can to try to keep it fun.
Hmm.
That's really really the most important thing. Communicate with each other. You know, try to assess and bring that spice back to what it once was, because there was some spice there before
Yeah.
in
Facts.
your relationship. Bring
Yeah.
it back. This is the time right now. If you got plenty of time on your hand now, because ain't nobody working now, you ain't got to worry about the kids.
Hey.
Bring it. Let's. let's bring this relationship back to the way it was when we first got
Yeah,
together.
Erskine,
You know
I
what I mean?
told you last week, Erskine, that
We got 30 seconds.
this quarantine is going to expose the vulnerable, and it's going to expose the vulnerable pieces
Yes.
into people's relationships.
Yeah.
So
Yes. So we're at the end. We got 15 seconds left. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and joining us again on a Saturday night. Peace, love, and blessings. If you want to do a sponsorship with us, let us know. Hit us up at unfiltered no chaser at gmail.com, and we can tell you how we would do that. And when you do, we will have the banner going across with your business name, and we'll tell us a little bit about your business so we can shout out your business. But again, we thank you all again for coming out and joining
we'll
us.
see you next Saturday,
And if you have anything that you want to discuss,
7
send us an
p.m.
email, send it,
7
put it on
p.m.
Facebook, and we'll let you know. Again, bye.
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 Later.